Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the Arnold Palmer Invitational. This is my top DFS core plays for all your GPP tournaments. You could use these, of course, for head-to-head also. And I'm also going to do my one and done. I feel like I try to put too much into the last show before the lock. So you're going to get my one and done picks today, along with my top 15 core plays that start at the highest price, which is John Rahm this week, and I work my way down to 7,000. Then, of course, tomorrow I'll give you my top value plays, or the hidden gems at the very bottom between 7,000 and 6,000. And with that said, thank you for stopping by. Give me about 30 minutes. Going to get you all the information to help you get these lineups done and also kind of figure out who you want to play from a one and done perspective. And with that said, let's talk some golf. Okay, real quick, let me talk to you about the giveaway that I've got going on for the players. What is it? I am randomly giving away $100 to 5 random individuals that'll get selected. And to get into this, all you need to do is click the like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber, because I need you to tell me who do you think is going to win the players. Put that in the YouTube comments below. I get that. And I'm going to randomly pick next week during the players. I will pick the 5 winners. And I will give out my email address so you guys can send me your PayPal email address. That's how you get paid. And in short, this is a thank you to the community and to new people that are attending. We've come a long way in a little bit of time, and I want to keep it going. So thank you guys so much, and good luck on the giveaway. All right, real quickly, if you missed the preview show, I always go through and give you guys my stroke gain analysis rankings. Of course, no shocker, I'm going with ball striking number 1, heaviest rated. Approach off the tee, putting around the green, sand safe, scrambling. As you get past putting, it was about rated around 5%. The number 1 proximity to the pin at this course is 200 plus, almost 30% of the shots coming in. So you got to be good with those long irons, hybrids, and then you got to gain strokes on these long par 4s, or at least break par is really what we're looking for there. Make sure you do well. So you got that 5 of those at 450 to 500. You got 4 par 5s, but you got 3 that are pretty lengthy. No problem for these guys, but we got to find out the guys that typically can birdie or even eagle the 550 to 600 par 5s. We also got 4 long par 3s. Probably one of the course defenses is to manage these par 3s. And I believe it was 199 and all the rest were 200 plus. And then the last thing I do want to know, the guys that make birdies and eagles, you can score here a little better than you did at PGA National. And then the last thing that I did in my preview show, and I want to show this again because I'm going to be looking at this a little bit when we're making our picks for these guys. I always give you guys my comparable courses. No shocker, right off the bat, you got Bay Hill. But what's courses like it or play like it or very similar? I think the number 1 out there that I could find, but the problem is there was only one event there, and that would be Jack's course in Florida at the Concession. Very similar as in exact green types. Similar as in the water they had to deal with. A lot of the playability worked out. So all the courses on the left are par 72s or 7400s, all Bermuda, and I think they represent probably the best test against. And then over the right, you've got Valspar. These ones here are between a par 70 to a 71, somewhat similar in yardage, difficulty, and also I think are very applicable in all Bermuda. So, good comparable courses we have. And then if you missed, here's the list of guys over their past 3 tournaments they played in these courses, or 12 rounds, depending on how they did, how they fared out against my custom model up here that you can see. All right, with that said, let's go jump over to Fantasy National. I'm going to show you the background analysis, how I came to these picks. Then we'll summarize these picks, and I'll give you guys my one and done. Okay, I've jumped over to fantasynational.com, and my plug, because I do use this quite a bit for my research and show a little bit of the tool, is if you are doing your own research or trying to do research different ways, this is the best tool on the market. I highly recommend it. It is completely focused on golf. All right, we'll be focusing on the DraftKings pricing, but of course you can use these picks for Yahoo, FanDuel, or whatever format you would like. And just so you know what we're looking at, I'm looking at the last 12 rounds these guys have played, so I want recent form. I've got no filters on because if I do turn those on, we're going to get old data. And I've already went through and put in the comp courses to kind of sift through these guys. I've also went through where this is and, checked out to make sure they're good on Bermuda. So I've already done that. So then the final view that you're looking at is a mini model. I'm highlighting the areas out of that larger stroke gain custom model that I want to focus on. That's ball striking, off the tee approach, those longer par 5s, and then that proximity from 200 out, since that's almost 30% of the approach shots. We're also going to see here, we can look at birdies gained over the last few tournaments, recent results of their last 5 tournaments they've played, and then, of course, tournament history if they've ever played here. So that's the data that we're looking at, and this is the information partly that I use to make my decisions. So right off the bat, DraftKings, funny enough, I just noticed they must have known about Bryson DeChambeau withdrawing before they actually put their pricing out, which kind of stinks. It would have gave us a little softer pricing on the bottom, but it is what it is. We're all in the same game. But you get 2 choices at the 11,000 area, and for me, it's going to be Rory McIlroy. Jon Rahm, an amazing player, right? A #1 ranked. I always state no reason why you couldn't play him. I look at his, some of these guys are going to be using this for a tune-up for the players. His chipping and putting has been not where I want it. But at any time, he can change that, go out and win this, no questions asked. But you got to make a decision here if you're going to play. And one time I wasn't going to pick either or, but I kind of the way that the team or the 15 guys that I'm playing was working out, I needed an 11,000 guy because I have quite a few guys you're going to notice kind of high end and lower end. So it will work out. You can, use these guys to build an actual 6-man lineup. But yeah, right off the bat, I'm going to go with Rory. Now, a little bit also, Jon Rahm has no tournament history here. I don't think that's huge, but what I had from past notes and everything I remember, it does show up. Guys that tend to do well here have played the course before. They know how to manage it. They also, even if they come in with not the best recent form, have done well here. So going with all that, if I wouldn't take my own advice, then what am I doing? So long story short, I'm going with Rory. Same thing almost with Rahm. It is all going to come down to the putter. You can see the approach has been a little off for Rory, but everything else ranks out really well. He's making birdies. He played well on the European Tour. If you remember, he had a chance to win, and I'm going to forget which one. Maybe it was the Dubai, whatever. But he put it in the water on the 18th, hence Victor Hovland ended up winning, going like birdie, eagle. So recent results that we've seen here on the PGA Tour, he had a T10 we got to see with the Genesis. Before that, he won the CJ Cup. Of course, that was in the fall. But the guy just has an impeccable tournament history here, and he's played the last 3 years, well, actually the last 5 years in a row to get ready for the players, and also because he does well at this course. I don't think I need to sell you a whole lot on Rory, but I'll give you a little information just in case maybe you don't know some of these things. Of course, he bangs the ball out there, one of the top drivers on tour. At one time was the longest until Bryson came along. So 320, it does, he does have to keep it in play at times. You can see driving accuracy can get wayward. This is looking over the last 12 months that he's played. You can see, the putter is the one Achilles heel, but he's positive on all surfaces. And like I said, if that goes, just like a lot of these guys that are elite ball strikers, they're going to win the tournament. This is what I was talking about over here. What I like about Rory is that the times that we have the data and we've seen him on the PGA Tour, he has been gaining with the stick. And you can see before that, he was losing a bit of strokes with the putter. You can see the irons have been off, but he did, at least break neutral or gained a tiny bit at the Genesis. If I remember correctly, it feels like that pitching wedge, sand wedge is where he was having the issues. So like the 120 in. So, there's not maybe going to be as many of those shots on this course. But, definitely you're going to have times where you need it, especially on the par 5s. But I like Rory. Again, I don't think I need to sell you. And then if I just click on here, you can see his best finishes. Of course, he's got the Wells Fargo comp that I was talking about. He's won the API back in 2018. He's had, like I said, impeccable record here and impeccable Wells Fargo. I don't know if he's ever played some of the others. I'll look at Valspar just to see. He's only played there once. He missed a cut. I highly doubt he's played like Sanderson Farms or what was the other one I had? Let's see, the Houston Open. Yeah, so like I said, I don't think I have to do a lot of selling, but you have to make a decision. That's where I ended up on those guys. So the next you get into this 10,000 range, which is, I like all 3 of these guys, but you got to make a decision. And I ended up going with Victor and Hideki. And left Scotty out again. He's been playing amazing golf. Already had to win at the Waste Management. But I guess what's ringing in my brain, at least with Victor, is even though his course history hasn't been the best here over the past 3 years, the guy's been in impeccable form. Right, I think he's won 3 out of his last 6 tournaments he's played. Of course, he had that miscut at the Phoenix. Had I think a terrible first round, if I remember correctly. And the same with like a lot of these guys we talk about. It's all about the putting. But what I really like about Hideki and Victor is what they do from this 200 proximity out. That's a big thing. I mean, a lot of these guys can all hit good tee shots, but they're elite ball strikers. Hideki is one on Augusta, which is super fast greens. I always said, this is my own beliefs, that if you have really fast greens, I tend to think it helps the worst putters or not the best putters. That's the simplest way to put it. Because these guys typically they can focus on one thing or the other. It seems like they either have their pace down but not the read, or they have the read down but not the pace. Well, I feel like with fast greens, it kind of takes the pace away a little bit, and you're so focused on the line, and then the ball and the greens kind of do the work a little bit more for you. That's my own theory, also from playing the game. So with that said, I've mentioned this before. When I see these really fast greens come up, and I look at amazing ball strikers that have not putted so well in the past, it has showed up like the Corey Connors and the Wises. They do typically putt better here, so hence kind of backs my theory. That helps Scotty Scheffler too, because he's not the best putter, especially 10 feet inside. But where I've kind of landed is Victor and, of course, Hideki. Now, if we go just real quick, we look at Victor. And if you don't know much about him, which I'm sure you do, but he's probably one of the most accurate guys off the tee. I've seen it go sideways, and it blows your mind when it does happen. But his game just translates at any course that he goes to. You can see Poa, he actually has gained over his last 12 months. Bermuda's is slightly negative. And if we can look at what's been going on, we always know around the green is his Achilles heel. It has gotten better. We've seen quite a few tournaments where he's chipped in quite a bit. You can see the putter was real nice at the Genesis. He actually gained 5 strokes. Again, lost a little around the green. And the CJ Cup, that was actually Ben. I was just curious what the surface was there. I'm trying to find, well, Wells Fargo, he gained 4 strokes on Bermuda. The Valspar, again, that's way back early spring or early summer, you could say. But anyways, big fan of Victor. And if you want to see where he comps out, it's funny enough right now, it looks like island courses, right? The Puerto Rico Open, OHL, and Mayakoba. That's where he's got his wins. But if you kind of dive in deeper, you got Valspar. You got that Workday I mentioned. That was at Murfield, so he had 2 of them. How do you do a concession? So WGC Workday. He did not play. That's not correct. I know he played. What did they title it? WGC. Oh, okay, WGC Mexico. Yeah, he had a second. I believe that was what Morikawa won that. Also Victor Hovland, or not Victor Hovland. Also Billy Ho, which is going to be one of my picks. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, so Victor Hovland is in for me. Like I said, it was just out of these 10,000 range. I actually ended up taking 2, but you're going to see I've got a bunch of guys lower. Hideki here, I gave you quite a few of the reasons. Now, again, maybe not impeccable course history, but it's played here a ton. But he does everything that I like. If we go look, almost very similar to what we get out of Victor Hovland. Let's go pull up the information I want to see is what has he done putting at the Arnold Palmer? I'm guessing that's where he's hurt. So he has had a 6 way back, and he just broke neutral, and that's about what you want. Same with like Victor Hovland. If they can just gain a half a stroke or a stroke and do what they do, they could pull a top 5 or a win out. You can see, he lost 8 strokes with his putter and still had a 33rd. I mean, if any other guy loses 8 strokes with the putter, he no way makes a cut. So it just shows you how elite these guys are. And also Hideki has been putting well. Let's go click back on that. I want to see what he's been putting. Over his last 5 tournaments, he's actually been averaging a stroke and a half on the field with the putter, which is crazy. You can see that's never happened before in his history of almost 200 tournaments played. And you can see that kind of right here. I mean, he gained a ton at the Sony, of course, knocking off Russ Henley. Every time I got to say that, it hurts. But that was on Bermuda. I don't expect anything like that, but you give me that 1 stroke gain, and Hideki's going to be, top 5, top 10 play. Sanjay M, I can't do the price tag. I just can't do it. Now he's got a great course history here. Even though he's got 2 missed cuts out of his last 5 events, he also had like that 3-week hiatus. I think he's, of course, I'm probably maybe a little scorned that I had him for 1 and done at the Honda and he misses the cut. But 9,900 in this field, I'll find other options. And I think the first person I thought of who I wanted to bet and who I think is going to win this tournament is Will Zalatoris. Now, of course, Will, and also it's probably a little bit on the narrative of how many new winners we had. We're like, okay, you're next. Pretty much the Scotties, everybody else has been, even I call Finau there last year at the, the FedEx. I know he had a win before that, but I don't know, it wasn't a real win. But yeah, Will Z's been playing great golf. He's played here once before. He had a top 10. He fits in the mold of the guys that I'm looking at, and I'm looking at the best ball strikers with maybe not the best putter, but if they get hot, if it just clicks, like we've seen with Seb Straka or these guys like Tom Hoagie or even Scotty Scheffler, like if that turns to the positive, even Hudson Swafford, funny enough, good ball striking he had going on. It just needed that putter, and if the putter goes positive, just a stroke or two for these guys, they've got their first win or they're going to win again. So that's why I like Will Z. And of course, like I said, I don't think I'm the only one that's, on that train. You can see again, it's just a putter. It's been a while. So last place, well, there we go. I mean, you can make that a positive. Last time he gained strokes with a putter was at Sanderson Farms. Gained almost 4 strokes. You see around the green. Wasn't as good. His best finishes, that's West Coast. So there again, of course, probably a little bit like Hideki. I'm thinking what he did at Augusta recently on those super fast greens. Again, goes with my theory of, when you get guys on super fast greens, it's they concentrate on the line, the greens do the work for them. Shriners, that's Bermuda. I would guess is San Antonio, which is not a PGA event. It's Corn Ferry, but that's got to be Bermuda. Let's go click on it. Does it say? Yep. I was crazy. Well, it's at TPC San Antonio. So right there is a good comp too, right? It's not, of course, Valero, but it was a Corn Ferry Tour event there. All right. So I'm all over Will Z, and you get to see the information on that. Troll Hatton, he's been playing pretty decent over in the European Tour. He had a rough 2021 season. Of course, he's a past winner here. He won under conditions that I don't see happening this weekend. That was crazy wind and weather and rain. If that happened, I'd be probably all over the Europeans. I'd plug in Fitzpatrick. But yeah, on Terrell Hatton, just what I've seen of recent form, and you can see that what we've seen of him here over the States was not good. And also, Terrell Hatton's one of those guys, I put him like in the Matthew Wolff camp. When things go a little south, he's a very emotional player. It seems like that carries on to the next hole. And also, you could flip that where if things are going well and that guy gets on a heater, he could birdie 4 or 5 holes in a row. I don't remember if that's actually how he won this tournament. It's been such a long time. I felt like that was like, geez, it felt like it was eons ago. It wasn't that long ago. But yeah, I mean, I like T Hat. I just not this week for me. Not at the 9,300 price tag. Fitzpatrick also has a great history here at this course. We had that withdrawal, which I don't know if we ever found out why. It's something I need to look into. I'll have that for you guys tomorrow if I can find out why he withdrew. Oh, geez. Was it not Pebbles? And it was Waste Management. I guess it'd been the Genesis that burned people. Yeah, because I was on vacation. I have no idea. I don't know if it was a sickness, COVID, if it was an injury, but it is something we should need to know if you're thinking about roster him. Right now, he will be faded on my side, even though he does the things. But I just don't. I think there's going to be a little more scoring in this event than even maybe usual. I mean, we could get up into the mid teens to upper teens, and I don't think of Fitzpatrick as that guy. I want him more in a major field and or bad conditions. A bit like even what Brooks Koepka says. I'm not a guy that's going to go win out many tournaments that are 20 under. But you give me a tournament that's 10 under, single digits under, I'm typically going to win that. So I look at Fitzpatrick in that same mold. Mark Leishman, I like him. The driver's still been a little wacky here or there. I always said he's kind of a cheaper Cam Smith. 9,100 is a bit to pay. Yes, I know he's got a win here. He's got a second in 2020. We also missed a cut the most recently, but not the same. He's been playing good golf. I've always said watch out for guys that are doing these, kind of 15th, 16th, 10th, 19th. Those are typically the guys that are next in line to win. And Leishman, his last win was what, the Farmers a couple of years ago? It's been a while for him. Yeah, so back in, it's over almost 2 full years. But you can see gains on Bermuda. I mean, I have no problem. I'm actually going to talk about him in one and done. So, but from a DFS large GPP play, you got to make your stance and put a core team together. That's how I do it. And I'm going to kind of, like I said, will he be sprinkled in? Yep. What is he going to be in my main? Am I going to be over the weight on the field with him? Nope. Adam Scott was actually in my top five, and then I, at the last minute just said, okay, wait a minute. I got to get one more, high end guy because I'm getting quite a few lower guys. So he was the one that was out, but I'm excited about, Adam Scott. Now, this would be a perfect spot for Adam Scott to burn a lot of people. It could definitely happen, but you can see a nice trend at T5 at the CJ Cup. Of course, I think a lot of people are going to put a lot of weight at the Genesis. Of course, he was a past winner there. He loves that course. You can see not the same kind of deal here at Bay Hill. Now, he's got that third way back in 2014, which I think I mentioned in the preview show, where I think he had led the lowest score opening round, and then 54 hole score was the lowest. And so he could play well here, but man, that's a while ago. Last time he played here was 2020 at a cut, and his game was not where it's at today. I think he has refocused. He's re-energized. Knows that maybe he's only got a few good years left to compete with these young guys. So I can see him having a resurgence. But for the price, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Billy Ho. We all know that Billy, has also a good course, pretty good course history here. Let's go dive. Let's take a look first. One thing that you don't see on here is what he can do on long par threes. He's very good with his irons on the long side. Now it says here this Prox 200 of his last few tournaments has not been the best, but I'm not concerned about that. Also, I think it's a little bit of a differentiation play putting Billy Ho in because people are going to see that, he ended up at PGA National. I don't even remember now. He shot even, right? So what did that come out like 20th place? Whatever. But he did it in a weird way. He killed the field in ball striking, and he didn't make the chips and the putts that Billy Ho typically does. And he stated that he was frustrated with those greens and visually just was not getting in the line. So with all that said, if he does what he did with the ball striking and does what he always usually does from the perspective of what he can do with the chipping, and he's a bit of a luck sack, right? I mean, the guy will chip in from 40 yards behind a tree, bank it off a squirrel in the hole. That's Billy Ho. And he'll do it like once a tournament. So we just need him to get back to that. And you can see, where is it at? Over his last 20 tournaments, he's gained around the green and putter. It's actually been the approach. Well, you can see the last event, he gained 6 strokes with the irons or approach, and he lost 2.4 around the green and almost 2 strokes with the putter. So, we need something more like what he did at the Phoenix, and he's running good. I mean, again, a 16th, a 6th, 11th, had a good tour championship. So I like Billy Ho for the price tag. I think it's a good value. That's my perspective. Oh, we'll look at some course stuff for you real quick. You can see he hits that fade, 295 off the tee. Very accurate. Bermuda by far is his favorite putting surface. Hence the shocker at the Honda. Let's go look at Arnold Palmer, just the full history. So his best finish was a 13th back in 2017. He had a miscut recently too. So, I mean, can it happen? He also, what I was interested in, I told you this WGC Mexico, right? He had that second place at concession. I like that. See what he does at Valspar. Maybe he doesn't play Valspar. He has, but it's been a while. I was curious. Just throw the players in there. I know that wasn't on there. Then I'm going to throw Honda. Yeah, he's had a good showing at Honda in his past. Was there any other tournament? Let's see Sanderson Farms. So like I said, some of those I put in, these guys have not played. And then Valero. So he's had, wow. He's done really well at Valero, and then he had this rough streak. So I don't know if there was change of course or course changes. Let me see this. Nope, same course, but they maybe had some changes. Who knows? That's a little odd. But yeah, I'm on Billy Ho, and like I said, I think ownership's going to be lower, so I'm going to pivot to him. Sam Burns, everything says play Sam Burns here. At some point he's going to click it back. He's too good of a player. I don't know what's been going on, why he hasn't been playing well, but he's getting back on Bermuda. He's in Florida, warmer climates, born in Louisiana, but he's had these 3 miscuts, a decent course history, but 8,800, in this field, I feel like what's been going on, he should be a little less. And so I'm not, I'd rather go with Max, even though I always think of Max West Coast Poa, but he's been playing such good golf and he's so good at this longer range that it was kind of a decision. Now I'm betting Burns. I'm going to sprinkle him in some lineups because I think you can get some maybe differentiation again there. We'll have to see how ownership bakes out tomorrow. So I am not against playing him here. He's just not making my top 15. Is the simplest way to put it. And really, while we're at it, Taylor Gooch fits. I've always put Gooch and Burns very similar. I think Burns is a better putter, but Gooch has a lot of similar qualities, and again, pretty high priced. Not a bad tournament history, but he's also been a bit off since the win at RSM Classic. It took me a moment. I was like, I got to make sure before I say this. Since his win at RSM Classic, he's been a little bit off. And that happens, right? That was his first win, big deal. And of course, no idea that that's where he would have his win. Just that was not what I was seeing for him. All right, let's go talk about Max real quick because I am picking him. You can see that nice green on everything I'm looking for firing. Max has just been steady now. I am a big fan of Max, watch a lot of Max, and we know that he can just have one of those blow up pulls. I've talked or a blow up, tournament. I've always said he's a great bet. I didn't look. I wasn't thinking of betting him, but typically you get him around 60 to 1. I don't know where he is this time because he either top five or miscuts. It can happen, but you can see good course history. He's got in there just talking about cut T15, cut T14, T10. So probably a guy maybe that you want to even bet more, but I like him from a DFS play. I think even though ownership shows like a little higher, I don't think he'll come in when all is said and done at that high. We'll see. Um, tough courses is where he's done his damage. You already saw he did at Arnold Palmer. What has he done? So Valspar, he's done well at. Sanderson Farms, not the greatest. What about Valero? Let me type one more so we get just Valero. Yeah, not the best either on that side. Honda, he hasn't played in a while, but he has a 20th and a miscut. Just looking through some of the. What did he do at WGC Mexico? So he had a 22nd at concession. So that's good too. So yeah, I like Homa. Russ Henley, not a terrible play. Could be sneaky. I will probably sprinkle him in. All right. I mean, kind of in his wheel. Now it's a little longer track. You can see not the best from that 200 out and off the tee. He doesn't gain a lot of distance. He's pretty accurate. I mean, let me go check. I'll verify that statement. Yeah, 66. He just doesn't get the distance. So don't let that number fool you, especially against this field. You have a lot of guys that hit the ball real long. Jason Kokrak, we'll talk about him one and done. Well, I don't know if I put him in, but I think he's a decent one and done play, especially if you need to differentiate, get a little different. I need to differentiate, but I don't. I'll tell you who I'm picking when we get to that point. But I think Jason Kokrak's a good play here as a short of it. Of course, he had the win at the Houston, which is a comparable. I don't know if I've been plugging that one in. Let's go look at Jason Kokrak a little further. So you see, he can get a little wayward with the tee, and that seems like what's been going on. Yeah, I mean, kind of like either he's really on with the driver or he's off the driver. But the guy's a way better putter than he's been. You take a look, he's at the win. And it's funny, I always think of him at bigger courses, but the Schwab's small. He's had some good showings at the shorter tracks, good showing at Valspar. There's the Greenbriers, a shorter track, Byron Nelson. He's got that fourth way back here. RBC, a smaller track. Then Arnold Palmer again. There's my Sanderson Farms and Valero comps. Valspar again. So I think he's a good play. I guess I'm just a little hesitant on what's going on here from a ball striking recently. And I guess kind of on Paul Casey. And the reason why, I mean, if you know Paul Casey, right, he was your back-to-back winner at Valspar before Burns won there. So right there, just boop. And then also the first, what I want is guys hitting fairways and hitting greens and giving opportunities. Now, of course, it's the putter with Mr. Paul Casey that, just like you can kind of see the narrative of all the guys I'm picking, elite ball strikers, and they just need to have that putting week, and they could go off. So he's also been playing pretty good golf. Right at a T15 at the Genesis was good. Kind of a mixed bag here. He has at T9. We'll go click on Paul a little further. So driving accuracy, not as high as I would think off the top of my head, but still pretty good. You can see Bermuda's kind of neutral for him, gains a hair. But you can see it's the putter is where he tends to struggle a little bit. It's not the irons. And he also hits the long irons really good. Let's see where he's had his best. So there's that back-to-back win at Valspar for him. There's the Houston Open a long time ago with this PGA. Oh, that was at TPC Harding Park where Morikawa ended up winning. So that was California. There's the Genesis, which, I'm not saying that's comparable, but it is a tough track. There's the Honda. You could, like I said, I kind of am plugging that in. I didn't put it on the screen, the thing, but I think it is comparable. Shorter track, but it is a lot of water. It is the TifEagle Bermuda greens. There's some similarities. There's the Players not too long ago, this past spring. So yeah, I like Paul Casey. You can see his ownership's up there for 8,300. Pretty good value, I think, out of this board. I'm going to plug in Garcia in a few lineups too. I don't have him, as my main top 15, but, winner at Sanderson Farms, again, fits the mold. Great driver of the ball, great with the long irons, pretty good short game, just as what the putter does for him. So, but he's not making my top. I'm going to go with Killer Keith. And if I wanted to be real contrarian, I guess I could have probably went with Sergio over Mitchell, because honestly, I think they're a pretty similar play. I think like everybody, he's been on, such good form. He's also had a great track record here. Of course, his only win is at Honda, and then he almost won at Quail. So I think everybody's kind of seeing what I'm seeing on that note. So, I'll tell you right now, if you want to switch it up and go against the grain, I think Sergio is a good play, especially we'll see where ownership comes in tomorrow. But right now, he's my pick, and I think for all the reasons I just stated, I don't think I need to sell you guys further on him. All right, we're kind of moving down. So you can see, there's quite a few guys, but now, we're going to get down. I kind of skipped through a lot of the mid-eights, and I get a little bit lower. And again, you can see all these guys, you can make reasons for playing. Gary Woodland's starting to look decent. I think Justin Rose, this course kind of suits what he does, and you can see, some past success, but he's also had some, not the greatest recent. Zane Hoot's had a good history here. I'm sure he's done it. Let's go look at how he's done it. I'm guessing it's just short game and putter, but let's go look at what he's done at Arnold. Yeah, gained the last event when he had his seventh. It was all done around the green and with the putter. So that's a lot to ask. I know Bazane, who's a good putter on Bermuda, but if he's doing this stuff and doesn't go, he could easily miss the cut. So a little bit while I'm out on CBEZ. I'm going to go to Corey Connors. I'm hoping he's kind of a forgotten man. I think this is a perfect fit. I'm not going to lie. I thought of him and Will Z as probably my top two guys I wanted to get my money in on. And as I mentioned, he was one of my bets. I think he's 70-1. You can see he's not been in the best of form, but of course his win was at Valero. He's had a third here. So we know it's all with him. It's what's going to happen, the chipping and the putting. Of course, shows here. But where he has his best putting outings is all on Bermuda. Sony, Shriners, Sony, Ape, Bermuda. This Zozo, that was bent. But yeah. And of course, his win is at some of my favorite comparables, and his best finish was here. And he's got the game, again, that I picked a lane that I'm going down, and it is I want the best ball strikers, maybe not the best putters, and hope that my theory of really lightning fast greens makes these guys really focus on the line and let the greens provide the speed. So I'm in on Corey. Seamus, I think, could be a decent play. I think he reminds me a bit of a Sun JM, kind of a cheap Sun JM. I think he does everything pretty decent. I don't think he's elite at anything. He's just good across the board. And whenever you have that guy, he's never a bad place, especially at 7,600. So I'll sprinkle him. You can make an argument of playing him over Chris Kirk. I'm on Kirk. I think he's streaky, Chris Kirk. So when he finds something, it seems like you got to ride him for a few tournaments. And then it's figuring out when you get off that train. As you can kind of see, cut, T14, T7. Hopefully this, and also he's got a great course history here. He's been doing all the things. He does what I need here from a modeling perspective. I also think the projected ownership will be lower than that when it's all said and done. So shorter track, but Bermuda. So on and so forth. Let's go see some, let's see Valspar. So nothing too great at Valspar. We know the Honda was pretty good, right? Yeah. What about the players? Wow. He's got a pretty good track record. Wow. He's never missed a cut. That is shocking. I mean, the top elite players missed the cut at the players at least once or twice. So yeah, I like Chris Kirk here and this. So I'm on him. I think Luke List literally fits exactly into my model that I'm looking for. You can see he had the recent miscut. That's not why I didn't pick him in my top 15. I'm excited about Cameron Young. And so it was just a decision between the two, to be honest. So I'm going with Cameron Young. We've seen what he's been doing. He is an elite ball striker. It is, of course, same thing with the putter. But you can see the only time his favorite surface is Bermuda with a little bit of data that we have. It's around the green that can kind of hinder him. This could be a lot of Corn Ferry. Of course, we know the Genesis, but he also had, it's probably why I'm on him a little more than, he had his second at Sanderson Farm, so it tells me that this is the kind of courses he could do well at. Not a bad showing at the Honda, right? A little struggle, I think, on Saturday, but had a really nice Sunday. So for that price tag, and I got to pick between, and I'm also looking for a first-time winner, and Luke Lich just did that. So again, another first-time winner. Yeah, I'm on Cameron Young. And I haven't picked Keegan in a while, but I'm going with Keegan here for 7,300. He, of course, fits this course well. Also, what comes to my brain is he, of course, was right there with Burns at Valspar. Also, Keegan has almost won Sanderson Farms. So this would have been, I think, back in the Garcia when he won. Let's see here. Yeah, so there's that fourth at Sanderson Farms. But you can see a lot of the comparable courses. There's that Valspar when he lost to Burns. That's way back. He's got a second here, the Genesis, but it's a ball striker's course, fitting right with the narrative of horrific putter. But if my theory goes correct, then I should be good. So that is my guy at 7,300. Siwoo, I'm going to wait for the players. Pete Dye course, I'll plug him in there. Kisner, it's actually done pretty decent here. Just not the guy that I'm looking for. Poulter, no. I mean, again, he's had some success here. You could see, not bad for the price. Maybe I'd rather bet him. Maybe like a top 10 or something like that. Lucas Glover fits my ball strikers, but I'm actually on Lanto instead. So that's typically what happens. Is I just between the two. Lanto has been playing great golf. Right, his only win has been at the Houston Open, and I believe, of course, Bermuda he gains a ton on. What I want to find out here, I believe that's at CC of Houston. So this is, I believe, the tougher of the two. Memorial Park was the last two. That's a par 72. It comps out better than Memorial Park. You can see lightning fast Bermuda greens, pretty similar on course length, par 72. And of course, he had a pretty decent finish here last year, T21. So the two times he's played, he's done pretty well at that price tag. I think it's a good value. I like Lanto a lot, and you can see he does everything I want. Super green. So he's I believe. Yep, got two more guys for you. Troy Merritt, same kind of thing. He's been playing, had some nice golf here, and of course, he's got a good course history here. Does everything from a modeling perspective. He's at 7,100. So hence, you probably noticed, like I said, I was a little top heavy up there, but now you can kind of see why I've got a lot of guys at this very men 700, at least men for what I'm picking. You see, the putter goes for him. He's pretty good from tee to green, so it fits again that ball striking. Now he's not long off the tee. What does he average? 291, but he's accurate. 291's fine. If you see where he's done some of his best work, let's take a look. So the Rocket Mortgage, he had that, was it a playoff? I think he won a playoff with Cam Davis. And Cam Davis, I think, won on the first hole. Arnold Palmer, there's a Valspar. These are some older Valspar. Recently at that 8th. That's intriguing. 11th at Sanderson Farms. So yeah, he kind of comps out well. Been in good recent form. For Troy Merritt, that's pretty good recent form. And he does everything I'm looking for. Not going back to the Peters experiment. I'm going to give that a little breather. I'm going to go with Sahith. I mean, I think this is a great place for him. He also, why he came to me, I believe at Sanderson Farms. Let's go take a look before I speak. Yeah, had was running there, and I believe it was Sunday where he was either leading or could have won that tournament, and then fell apart a bit on. So again, one of my comparables that I like for him, he started hooking the ball on the last day. If I remember, that's what comes to my brain. Of course, he almost won at the Phoenix. Probably don't have a ton of other things that we can really run against him, but his game, kind of what I've seen of it, fits what I'm looking for. All right, that's kind of sums up the analysis part. Now let's go jump over and I'll wrap this up for you guys. All right, so to summarize my top five, my Fab Five picks going in, starting off with Rory, impeccable course history, been playing good golf. It's going to come down to the putter, and you're probably going to hear that quite a few times on these guys. Victor Hovland, actually, more of the chipping. I'm not so concerned that he's been putting well, or for Hovland. I think this is a great place for him to get another win, or definitely a top five. Will Z, I think this is a good spot. I think with Scheffler, we said this for a ton. He's going to get his win. I think this is an amazing spot for him to get his first win. Again, I look at him and Victor very similar. And if just the putter goes for him, we're going to see it like what we saw at the Masters at very fast greens, the way we could go. Hideki, you've been playing amazing. You've actually been putting well, so how can I not play you? I'm not the biggest Hideki fan. I'll be straight up with you. It definitely didn't help when he beat Russ Henley, but everything tells me to play Hideki. There's no reasons I could even try to come up with it, except the putter could go sideways. Once in a while, he will get a little bit of the hook left with the driver. But other than that, the guy is just amazing. Especially all these guys, what I like is what they can do from 200 yards out. That's probably the main thing that keeps showing up over Billy Ho. I'm thinking he's going to be a little bit of a contrarian play. Looking for him to gain back with the chipping. Keep the ball striking close to where you had it. Do what you do with the putter usually on Bermuda, and we should be good to go. So that's my top five guys going in. Next five guys coming up, of course, Paul Casey, elite tee to green. Need that putter, and of course, he's won Valspar twice. Great comparable course. Corey Connors, of course, winner of Valero. Also shows up at Augusta, does well there. I didn't even mention that. He has done well here. I think he was either leading or was right there after like 3 rounds last year at this API. So again, it's all narratives. I'm looking for the best ball strikers. Just need that putter to pop. And where he's had good showings before is on Bermuda. Same with Mr. Mad Max there. Elite, great from 200 out, great ball striker. Yes, we know him for the POA, but he's also done some good work on the Bermuda. And Cameron Young, right? This was my kind of, do you go Luke List? Do you go Cameron Young? I'm going to go Cameron Young. Again, he's had just amazing outings. I think this is a better fit than what Honda even showed. So we'll see how that works out. Last but not least, of course, Killer Keith. It's been impeccable here. Great course history. He's went on a Honda and putting extraordinaire when he's been on Bermuda. Also got the Quail Hollow thing. And then my last but not least, the Unsungs, Lanto Griffin. Good showing here last year. Does well on Bermuda. Great ball striker. Just keep it going. I think he's a good price for what you're charging. Keegan, I have not picked in a while, but of course, as I mentioned, almost won at Sanderson Farms, almost won at Valspar. Ball strikers course. We need the putter. Troy Merritt, I feel like he's a little better putter than what shows, but he's not elite ball striker, but he does fit everything I'm looking for and been in decent form. And also, I forgot now which tournament he competed I was excited about, but playing Troy Merritt, Chris Kirk, been playing well. Again, I mentioned he's streaky. He's like a three tournaments on, 3 tournaments off. So hopefully he's got one more in him. But amazing putter, amazing around the greens, and typically pretty solid from tee to green. And then last but not least, Sahis Tagala. Of course, as I showed, he had a good showing at Sanderson Farms. And I just think his game fits this track. So we'll see how that pans out. So that's my top 15 guys. I forgot to go over this in the preview show, so I'm going to key this up to go through one and done. Past performance, I've been trying to show this with past winners. But this is giving you, over the last 5 years at this tournament, the guys who've gained the most strokes at Bay Hill. And you can see Rory off number 1, Leishman, you got Fitzy, T-Hat, Sunjay M, Fleetwood, Luke List, Killer Keith, Matty Wallace, funny enough. He had that nice showing. For me, it was more, I guess maybe he peaked here, but he started to have that real nice run within Texas. Almost won the Valero, kind of fell apart on Sunday. And then you got Mr. Coke Smack down here. has had a great past 3 tournaments here. So with that said, it gives you some more ideas of guys that you might want to use for one and done. Here are the guys that I'm looking at, and I'm leaning probably the most towards Will Z. But if it's up to you if you want to spend Rory. I will probably hold on to Rory. I'm not honestly sure where exactly. I would guess Quail Hollow for the Wells Fargo. He just, every time he plays there, he does well. So that's probably where I'm holding him, or for a major. Um, Victor Hovland, I've not spent yet either, but I think this is a great place to do it. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I want to use him. But Will Z, for me, I think, of course, you could think Texas course, but he hasn't done, off the top of my head, he hasn't done as well as I would think in Texas. So I really kind of think about him. I've already spent Hideki, but I think he's a great play here. Now, these last 2 guys, if you need to get a little crazy, if you're, way behind, as I mentioned, I'm top 25%, but I feel like I've got to do something a little unique. So I've thought about Sam Burns. I think he will not be that played. And I think this is a great place to play him. Maybe you wait for Valspar, but that could totally blow up too. I guess that's kind of what I'm looking for. We got some tournaments further here at during the Florida Swing. So I want to see this tournament probably to see where he's at before I would play him one and done. But everything tells you he should be great here. And then, of course, I just showed you Mark Leishman's had has been in good recent form. Not amazing, but good recent form. And has had a great track record here. So if you had to change it up, and I've already used some of these guys, maybe that's the guys you want to think about plugging in. So some thoughts for one and done. And with that said, that's it. That's my show for today. I hope that helps, especially from a tournament GPP perspective. I honestly feel like from a cash play, the top 2 top 10 guys I've used, I would have no problem from a cash or head-to-head game. But long story short, hey, click this like button. Don't forget to subscribe and enter my players giveaway. All I need from you is a like button click, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and put into the YouTube comments that who you think will win the players. And if you've not followed me on Twitter, I would recommend it because I will give you updates all the time about anything that you need to know. And with that said, thanks, guys. I'll be out tomorrow with my Before the Lock show, which will cover ownership projection, weather. I'll watch the pressers. If anything there, I'll let you guys know. Feel free to watch them yourself, but it's usually what I do at nighttime. And then I already gave my one and done. So, yeah, it's going to be a little shorter show tomorrow. I just felt like my prize picks. I'll probably still do that. Hey, you guys got to let me know. Are you guys doing prize picks? And do you care if, are you leveraging what I do with them? Because I'm kind of on the fence if I'm going to keep doing it or not. And your guys' feedback would definitely help to let me know to keep doing it or just forget it. All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day. And thanks for spending some time with me.